So there we have it. The Euros are done. Italy were an elite team led by wonderful people. Roberto Mancini and Gianluca Vialli, exceptional at what they do. And Italy were worthy winners. They are officially the best team in Europe. But that is now a memory, and the hype and build-up and excitement of the Premier League now commences. And there is some big news that has been landed upon news desks around the world today. Erling Haaland, one of the most sought-after strikers in the world. I remember around March, I think that word got round that he could potentially leave Borussia Dortmund this year. He went on a bit of a tour, and there were 3 clubs that were in the hunt for him. Manchester City, he has an obvious link there via his father. Real Madrid, because of their status in world football, because of the Galactico culture, and Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea, at the time, felt like an honourable mention. It didn't feel like Chelsea were in genuine pursuit, but they say a week is a long time in politics, and we know that 6 months is a long time in football. And since March, when Haaland went on that tour around Europe to meet prospective clubs, Chelsea have been crowned champions of Europe, and that changes everything. Cast your minds back to 2012. There was a player in France who was ripping it up. There was a player in France who everyone wanted to sign. I remember the day that Eden Hazard put on Twitter, "I'm signing for the European champions." The day that you win the European Cup, you are elevated in the eyes of potential superstars. And Chelsea, securing that win over Manchester City in Porto, could have changed everything and actually restructured the race to sign one of the most prized assets in world football. There is no conversation to be had about how good Haaland is. Haaland is top tier. Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, they are the 2 jewels in the crown of world football. They are the 2 to take the mantle from Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. So the fact that Chelsea are in the conversation for one of these players is very exciting indeed. And it is all off the back of securing that European Cup. When you think about what Erling Haaland achieved last year, 41 goals in 41 games. That is no nonsense. That is not messing about. That is serious. And when it looked like he was going to go to City, at one point I felt like that was the obvious destination for him. I flippantly said something that, although it was said flippantly and almost tongue-in-cheek, they say a lot of truth is said in jest, don't they? And I remember saying this sentence with regard to him playing for City. I said he would score 40 goals for that City team. That is obviously slightly to do with the way City play, the chances they create, the way they look after the ball, the players that they have in supply. But he would score bundles of goals for this Chelsea team as well. And if Chelsea can make this happen, and Roman Abramovich is apparently double keen to make this happen. Apparently, he has made £150 million available. I mean, that level of money and investment, it feels slightly crass to me in a way, considering the world that we're living in. But football kind of plays by its own rules, and we have to detach everything from football. It's in a vacuum, and it plays on a very different landscape and terrain to the rest of us. But Abramovich has apparently made £150 million available to Dortmund. I think that level of investment will be very difficult for Dortmund to turn down. They've already made £73 million for Jadon Sancho. So they are already in profit. So in theory, they don't need to sell, but £150 million is so much money. And I think that if Chelsea do genuinely decide to make a significant play to sign Erling Haaland, I think we can do it. There is talk of certain players having to make way. Tammy Abraham has been mentioned, and the way that he fell out of favour with Thomas Tuchel is something that didn't really resonate with me. I think it was something that didn't make any sense at the time, but you can't argue with what Tuchel achieved. But I love Tammy Abraham, but sadly I do think his time at Chelsea is over. And on some level I hope it is for him, because I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's a proven Premier League striker. I think he has a really bright future ahead of him, and I think he needs to be playing, because he had a real chance of being part of an England setup for this summer, but because of circumstances, it didn't happen for him. So I wish Tammy Abraham all the best, I really do. And I look forward to him coming back and playing against Chelsea and getting a clap. And hopefully having a bad game, of course. But no, I think Tammy Abraham could be one that will make way. There's talk of Hakim Ziyech being another one. And interestingly, Callum Hudson-Odoi. You know, in 2020, Callum Hudson-Odoi nearly signed for Bayern Munich, and Chelsea did everything we could. We broke our neck to keep hold of him because of his potential. He is potentially one of the best players in the world. I do genuinely believe that. But he didn't really feature for Thomas Tuchel. I was surprised, but I think he only started 7 games. So I don't think it would be a huge loss for what Chelsea are hoping to achieve next season. And I think we'd get some big money. For the 3 players I mentioned, Tammy Abraham, Hakim Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think you're looking at maybe close to 100 million. And if you manage to accrue 100 million, paying 150 for Erling Haaland suddenly looks like, it's ridiculous what I'm about to say, but it looks like a bargain, doesn't it? Effectively, you're getting him for about 50, 60 million quid. So I think there is a way that this deal could actually happen, and what a signing it would be. How exciting would it be to see Erling Haaland linking up with Kai Havertz and Mason Mount? It would strike fear into defenders. And Chelsea do need to sign a striker. I think people know how I feel about our striking situation. The fact that Olivier Giroud is moving on, it's looking like he's going to sign a 2-year deal with AC Milan, means we do need to find some goals because, you know, we signed Timo Werner for 50 odd million quid last year. I like Timo Werner. I just don't believe that he is going to score enough goals. I think he scored 7 goals last year. You know, it's not enough. And if Chelsea have genuine title aspirations, if we are genuinely believing in winning the league, then I think we need to find somebody who can regularly put the ball in the back of the net. And that is something that Erling Haaland can definitely do. I've got to tell you again, 41 goals in 41 games. This is ridiculous. This is top tier. Of course, Borussia Dortmund have come out. They've spoken to Bild. They've said there's nothing in it. They are planning for Erling Haaland to start the season with them. They believe that he will be playing in the Bundesliga next season, or at least that is what they are currently saying. I think that there is some mileage in this, and I think that when you are the European champions, the opportunity to join the European champions is potentially too much for anyone to ignore. So I think there is a conversation to be had there. Of course, Manchester City are something to worry about with any signing. And the allure of Real Madrid, irrespective of what's going on in La Liga at the moment, the allure of Real Madrid is always something that we should take seriously. But stranger things have happened, and I will be overjoyed if we can get this one over the line. Can you imagine that signing? Running through at Stamford Bridge in front of the Matthew Harding and pinging it in. It's the stuff dreams are made of. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, would you do me the honour of dropping a like? And if you really enjoyed it, seriously enjoyed it, click subscribe. It massively helps me out. And it would be an honour to have you as one of my subscribers. See you all in a bit.